Choosing the right personal trainer course. Hi, I'm Hayley from Parallel Coaching, and in today's session, we're going to explore how you can choose the right PT course or right FITPRO course for you. And this is a really important part of the journey because this very first step you take is the first step along hopefully a very long path, a very long journey for you inside the fitness industry. And if you don't quite get those steps right for you, then it could end up becoming something whereby you either resent the journey, maybe you don't feel confident, maybe you don't continue the journey, or it could be that you just end up with a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. Either way, it's important that you find something that supports your ability to learn, that also makes it exciting for you to learn, and is something that you can complete and feel confident in. And we generally find that it's not one size fits all. So if it works for your friend, doesn't mean it will work for you. If it doesn't work for your friend, doesn't mean it will work for you. So it's not one size fits all, and it generally depends on 6 different factors that play into part about how you can choose the right thing for you. And I usually use these as a nice kind of little checklist for people when they're first deciding about their journey into becoming a personal trainer. They need to factor in a lot of different things, and as a result, there's lots of different options that will be right for them. So the very first one is recognition. Recognition is important because what you don't want to do is spend your time and money on a course or a qualification that isn't recognised. You want something that's going to be recognised, ideally by Ofqual. So Ofqual is basically the fitness or the vocational qualification standards version of Ofsted. So it means that it holds all the standards of the qualification, it holds set units that relate and show people that you have completed certain things from the syllabus. Inside that, there's lots of different awarding bodies that offer something that has an Ofqual badge or sticker on the end of your certificate, which just reassures that you've done something that is going to be recognised across the board. This means that you're then going to be able to go and get insurance, that you're going to be able to get a job, that you're going to be able to go on and do other qualifications later. Whereas if you pick something that might look great on the face of it, but isn't actually accredited, then it could mean that it stops your journey full stop at that very first hurdle. And that's because if it's not accredited, it might not be recognised by other people that you might be working alongside. So the first thing is recognition, and that's one of the first things that should go into whether you're choosing a particular PT course or not. The second thing is your preference and your learning style. Now this is really important because everybody learns differently. Some people like to read, other people like to watch videos or download audio and listen to that whilst they're walking or driving. Other people prefer something more kinesthetic or physical. And actually kinesthetic learning styles are most common within those that are training for vocational jobs like that in the fitness industry, but also in particular for those becoming personal trainers. And I believe this is because it's a physical role. It's something whereby you're physically instructing, you're physically doing things that relate to somebody achieving a result. And so there is quite a large amount of kinesthetic learning that can take place. This means it's something that you're doing. So you do it, you practice it, and as a result, then you learn it. This is a really good way of learning. And actually for gym and PT and other fitness professions, it's actually something that makes a lot of sense, because how do you learn how to instruct someone if you're not actually practicing instructing it? It's all very well sometimes reading it in text, but does that mean that you can convert that and change it into something that you physically do? Often people find that really tricky. So that would be the second point, is saying that it's important to find something that matches your style of learning, rather than saying, oh, I'm going to go with online learning because that's something that suits me and I can fit it in around how busy I am. But then it's all about reading, for example, and actually you struggle with reading and it's not your natural learning style. Pick something instead that matches your learning style, because you know you'll breeze through it much quicker, you'll find learning more interesting and more exciting, and therefore it's going to stick much better in your mind. So that's point number 2. Point number 3 is your time availability. Now, time availability is the biggest thing that either gets in the way or helps somebody achieve their goals in career change and in training to become a personal trainer. Probably the biggest reason why people maybe stall or delay getting qualified as a personal trainer is because they just don't have the time. Usually people got full-time jobs, they've got families, they've got their own training, their own food prep, and now added to that, they're learning alongside this in order to try and get their qualifications. So it means that time can be a very key aspect. Now, part of finding the right time availability for you is to find the right learning style, because if you get the right learning style, like we said a moment ago, it will mean that you speed up your learning process and it actually works in your favour. It means you can do it much quicker. Now, don't be fooled into thinking that online learning is best for time availability because you save on time like logistics, etc. The problem here is that sometimes it isn't actually quicker because you sometimes end up learning in such small chunks that you end up dragging it out much longer rather than, say, doing an intensive weekend or a full attendance day, for example. But you want to play into and understand the difference of what you've got available in terms of your timings. Think about the time that you have available, map out a bit of a plan and look at your diary and say, well, actually, I could put in 2 hours a week, or I could put in 4 hours a week, or based on this, I could do 4 hours a day, or whatever it might be. But you need to know in an ideal world what your time availability is each week. And then you also need to think about how long you want to take before you're qualified. These are then going to help you when you then go and look at different PT courses to find out when their deadline is, when you would complete that journey based on the course you're looking at, and also how long you're expected to learn and apply your knowledge for every week. And then that allows you to understand whether it's actually achievable for you or not. So that is point number 3. Point number 4 is your learning confidence. Most people that are training as FITPROs or new PTs are already in a place whereby they've either not learned for a very long time or they're fairly new to learning and having that structured academic learning process. So in doing so, make sure that you find something that supports you and guides you. If you're very familiar with learning, you might need something with less support. If you're not familiar with learning or scheduling time to revise, then you might need something that you've got more support, more guidance, more contact, and actually face-to-face can work really well for this because it helps you practice and build your confidence. So think about your level of learning confidence. If you've got a small amount of confidence, go with something that's got more hand-holding, more guidance. If you're quite high in confidence on specific skills like instructing or maybe on theory and learning, then you might try and go, you know what, I need a little bit less contact. These all influence how you decide which PT course is best for you. Then you've got number 5. This is your strengths and your weaknesses. Again, it kind of wraps into what we're talking about, your learning confidence. If you understand to start off with what your strengths and weaknesses are, now I want you to come up with those before you go hunting for your PT course, because often we end up listing all of our weaknesses but not our strengths. So try and find a few in there. Then once you've found them, you're basically going to use these strengths and weaknesses to help find a course that will help support you in your weaker areas. If you know you lack motivation, if you know you lack the ability to structure and organise your studies, you want something that's going to do that organising for you. But if your strengths, for example, are that you already coach clients or that you already instruct in a particular different sport, for example, you might go, actually, I don't necessarily need as much hands-on instructing practice. So this is different for everyone. You need to find out what your strengths and weaknesses are before you kind of go looking for a course that matches and really supports you in those weaker areas. Also, finally, number 6, and this is looking for reviews. Reviews are a lovely window into finding out what actually happens inside that course or that qualification, because a sales page can look lovely, but inside that sales page, it doesn't necessarily explain to you what people's journeys are. So it just shows you what it might be like, but you don't actually get the real life review of what happened. So look for reviews that go through and explain how someone's journey was. Look for the types of reviews that sort of discuss your barriers or the things that you find harder about it and how they were overcome. And it will really help you understand which type of course is best for you based on other people's experiences. And that brings us to the end of all 6 different factors that might affect which PT course is best for you. Now, if you do want more information on our own PT course that we do here at Parallel Coaching, then please do follow the link and find out more, or you can directly message me. That's absolutely fine, and we will go through any questions that you have. The idea here in terms of you finding your path to success and your right PT course is that you find the one that's right for you, not for generally everyone. And there is no one size that fits all. So look for those key things, the things that are your priorities, and have an understanding of what your strengths and weaknesses are, how much time you can spend on your studies, and also when you want to get qualified by. Put all these factors together, and then when you start researching and looking for the key factors, you're able to compare course for course on something that matters most to you. And from experience, that often isn't the value or the cost of the course or the amount of necessarily the different types of styles. You've got to find something that is relevant for you, and think about all 6 of these different factors as you look through them. I'd also love to know what your big takeaway has been from today, so please do drop a note in the comments. And if you do want any more information from me about the PT courses we run here at Parallel Coaching, please do click the link that is alongside this video or reach out to me personally. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you soon. Take care.